Welcome to this video. Before I show you the order that I sent to this client, I'm basically just going to give you a bit of context on this account. So this account is a client that I actually took on. They already had a media buyer in place, and this audit was basically my first interaction with their ad account, and I basically just went through and gave them a bunch of recommendations on how they could improve their account from basically what they were already doing. So I went through, I sent this recording which you're about to see, where I go into their ad account and explain a bunch of things that they could change to improve the outcome of their current ads that were running. And then since then, I've taken on the account and started making them new ads and taking control of the account completely. You're also going to see basically everything that I recommended to them, and hopefully there'll be a few things that maybe you're also doing, some mistakes that you might be making that you can change and improve your own ad account. So I'll let the video speak for itself, but here is the ad account audit. So yeah, with the targeting with this, how you have this ad set up is like pretty much best practices. This is what I would be doing. So just leaving it like this, without any targeting options or like any interests or anything like that, that's fine. One of the advantages of using CBO campaigns is that you can use multiple dynamic creative ad sets, which can be very useful, but on smaller budgets, it's probably not a big deal. And I really only use these when we have proven creatives anyway. So it's probably not a big deal that you're using ad set budgets at the moment, like we spoke about, so we can keep doing this. I just would recommend that make this a little bit easier to navigate. So just change this to the location name, just so that like it's very clear what all the ad sets are doing, because at scale, obviously we want it to be easy to navigate. So that's just one thing that I would change. Another thing in the ad sets that I would probably change is this location targeting is fine by postcode, but when you look at the map on this, I just looked at it before, a lot of the audience, like there's gaps in between the postcodes and stuff, and I assume these areas are still areas that this person's comfortable servicing, and you can probably bump up this audience size like maybe by a couple 100,000 people just by adding in radius pins rather than doing the location. So I mean, I'll just show you in here, but like rather than doing these postcodes where you have like gaps like around here and like around here and here and here, you could just put pins, like drop pins all through this sort of valley here of like locations, and you'll probably pick up an extra few 100,000 people that you can advertise to, and that will basically reduce your cost per lead, which is what you want. So yeah, age, I assume you guys are just happy targeting 25 plus, so we'll just leave that. It's sort of just up to you guys. We've done 24, we've done 23, but I mean 25 is probably fine. So yeah, and then onto the ad level. So this is where like obviously you can make a few improvements. You got one ad going right now, which is fine. One of the things I'd be careful about is just turning ads off too early. I know like these ads, obviously I haven't gotten results after, X amount of spend or whatever, but it's really not long enough to spend like £6, £8 on an ad to know if that ad is going to work. So that's one thing that I'd probably just be careful of when you're running the ads in the future, is that unless you're spending at least probably like the amount that you're willing to pay. So let's say you're willing to pay £40 for a lead. Unless an ad's spent £40, it's pretty hard to make a decision whether or not to turn it off, especially if it's spending. If it's not spending any money at all, then it's fine, you can turn it off, but I just probably wouldn't bother turning ads off unless they've actually spent a meaningful amount, so that you know if they're going to work or not. Okay, so this is the second part of the audit. The reason that I've moved over to Google Docs is because I couldn't actually show a lot of the ad and the lead form without showing personal information about this account, which I obviously didn't want to show on YouTube. So I've just moved over to a Google Doc, which is going to summarize everything that we changed at the ad level and a few of the common mistakes that you might also have in your ad account. And if you have these, at least you know what problems that might be causing and how you can solve them. So this was the other problems that this account had that we made changes to. So at the ad level, they only had one option in the primary text and the headline fields for each ad. Facebook gives you lots of options because it's basically a built-in split test. Every time that you run an ad, Facebook will run all of the different headlines and all the primary text that you put in. If you're only using one, you're not taking advantage of the basically built-in split testing system that they give you. So I advise that you increase this to 3 at least. I can understand some people saying, oh, you shouldn't do 5 for both because if you don't spend enough, you're not going to know what ones are the best. I disagree. I always put 5. The least amount that I would recommend is 3, so I advise just to increase that to 3 different headlines and 3 different primary texts. I also advise that you can split test the call to action now. This is a relatively new feature in Facebook, but they were only using get quote, and learn more is the one that always performs the best in my experience. Even if your copy doesn't correspond, so if your primary text says like, oh, click get quote below to, fill out the form, you can still split test with learn more, because if learn more outperforms, who cares if it doesn't correspond with the primary text? If you're getting more clicks, then who gives a shit? So I would split test with learn more, and you can even do more than just 2. I'm pretty sure you can do like 3 or 4. So I advise that they would do this, and we actually move the copy to learn more anyway. So problems with the lead form. So this was actually the main problem in my opinion, the reason that their results weren't fantastic. And the biggest one is actually a little bit further down below, but there was a few problems here. So headline doesn't correspond with the ad. The account that had the headline as a lead form, it didn't give much information about why the person was filling out the form. It was a very generic sort of broad headline, and 9 times out of 10 your lead form headline should be one of the ones that's the same as your ad headline. It should very clearly explain why they're filling out the form. I use this example a lot in my videos, but if you're doing a free teeth whitening ad, and you have a lead form, the lead form should say claim your free teeth whitening here or something like that. It shouldn't say schedule your appointment, because when they're tapping on the ad, they're tapping because they want a free teeth whitening. They're not tapping on it because they want to book in a consultation or anything like that. Even though they will eventually need to book in a consultation or something like that to do that, it's not why they're tapping on the ad, and you're going to confuse people and lose people after they tap on it. So you want to make sure that it lines up and corresponds with your ad. It should very clearly explain why they're filling out the form. So we changed it to make it correspond with exactly what we were offering in the ad. The other problem was the intro text was way too long. The lead form for some reason had 2 paragraphs of text right underneath the headline intro, which basically meant that the person had to scroll an entire page length just to get down to the first question on the page, which is not what you want. You want to make it very clear that they clicked on the form and they're filling out their information, and you don't want to distract them with a whole bunch of text, especially when you're talking to older people, because they might not understand that they need to scroll down to get to the questions where they can fill out and claim whatever you're offering. So we just changed this to making the intro just a couple lines summarizing their offer and telling them that they're going to fill out their info and we're going to contact them. And then the final one, or not the final one, but this is the most important one in my opinion. They had the high quality setting in forms turned on, meaning that prospects have to do the slide to submit rather than just tapping to confirm. While this does sound good in theory, in my experience, this feature is terrible, because all that happens is that boomers don't know how to slide. They don't know how to actually submit their information. They just get confused because it's like a blue line and it says slide to submit. You're going to miss out on a lot of leads from quality people who just don't know how to use their phone very well. And people generally don't even review their information anyway. Like when they're filling out the form, they're not going to look at their information and review it and make sure it's okay. They're just going to click confirm, and then they're going to click slide to submit immediately after. So it's not going to improve your lead quality. At least in my experience, it's never improved lead quality. So we changed that to more volume and just left it as a default setting. And then the final thing that we changed was that the thank you page, or the submission page, was simply just thanking them for submitting the form, which is great, but we didn't push them down the funnel to go and book in a calendar or an in-person quote, which was what the button was linked to. So we changed the headline on the page to push them to actually go in and book a call or book a quote down below and actually tap the link, rather than just thanking them and making them think that they had done everything that they needed to do. So this will hopefully improve the amount of people from the form that are converting into a booked appointment as well. So yeah, but that basically sums up everything in the ad account audit. I hope that you can get some value out of this and potentially improve your own funnel or ad account from some of the things that were mistakes in this one. And if you want some help with your ad account directly, or you'd like me to run your ads for you, you can DM me on Instagram. But yeah, if you got some value out of this, I'd appreciate a like. And if you want to keep getting videos like this of ad account audits and media buying advice, then you can subscribe, and you'll see more videos from me in the future. But thanks, appreciate you watching, and have a good one.